Hi, my name is Allison Carter. I have a cop pulling me over. I just want to know that if he's ran my license plate, I just wanted to make sure. I just don't feel safe. I just wanted to make sure he ran my license plate.
You just scared the fucking shit out of me.
No, I'm not trying to do that.
You were following me for a long time, and I slowed my ass way down.
We are.
You slowed your ass way down. You scared the fucking shit out of me
Calm down,
right
Mom.
now.
It's okay. He really scared us. He's been following us for a while.
You went over that solid white line, okay? Now, I didn't know if you were
I am going towards 366.
Because I was trying to see if you were fucking following me, dude.
You have driver's license on your quick, man?
Yeah.
Is this your car?
No, we're not driving. Hang on one second. Did you call us? Did you call us in, sir? I just want to make sure you called us in. And I'm on the phone with 911 right now. I just want to make sure you called this in.
Called what in?
Called this in.
Pulled over.
What are you, a state trooper?
Yeah.
Yes, he's a state trooper. Are you Officer McDaniels?
We get fucked with a lot.
Are you Officer McDaniels?
No.
He's not Officer McDaniels, ma'am. We are on the road. We have had, I'm stepping out of my car with my hands up because I'm not sure. I'm just stepping out of my car with my hands up. My grandma's sitting here in the car. We have been pulled over once again. I have already called 911. Please screen record this video because it makes no sense. This officer has now pulled us over and has said that the reason why he pulled us over, please stay on Facebook, screen record, make sure with my mom. She's on my Facebook Live right now, and she's inside this trooper's car. He has tailed us for over 10 or more minutes. We thought someone was following us, which he was. She speed up. She slowed down. We did everything that we needed to do to make sure that he was following us. Now he's saying that she committed some type of traffic stops or traffic violations. Now he's saying that she's drunk. My mother does not drink. I put that on everything that I love and my grandmother's grave, that my mother does not drink or do any type of drugs. So he's going to run his test or say that he's doing a sobriety test or whatever. I'm just done with this. I've already called 911 and checked with Highway Patrol. They said that he did not call it into state, but he did call it into Highway Patrol a few minutes ago into the car.
Are you a cock blogger?
I'm not gonna let you walk up next to him.
No. You guys are asswats. You guys fucking suck. All the brotherhood. Can you grab me a soda while you're back there? You're really harassing me because first you're gonna a violation, and then I'm a drunk driver, and then now you're getting me on drugs and shit, and you're upset because I didn't pull over immediately off the off ramp. What do my notes have to do with the drug stop or an alcohol stop or anything else? Nosy ass. What does that have to do with anything? You're looking for what? What are you looking for?
Situations from Chino Hills and from
CPS reports say that it began when I was 3 months old, but I remember very clearly at 4 years old. It's the first time that somebody hurt me and I didn't have drugs. It was the first time I was awake and I knew what was going on. I was at my babysitter's, and out of all the kids, she kept bringing her boyfriend around me. She kept telling me to come sit in the room on his lap, talk to him. And one day I got really irritated that he kept trying to touch me, so I started fighting him, and she beat me. She beat me, and she told me that he was going to do whatever he wanted to do anyway, so she locked me in the room. And when he stopped, she took my stuff, and she threw me outside in the driveway in Ritchie Canyon until my 2 biological sisters got off the school bus and they found me. I was in shock. I just sat there.
Can you tell us about what kind of life you're living right now?
Right now, we were blessed enough to be warm inside this place that we're in, but usually we're in our car. We sleep in our car. Sometimes we can get gas station food, or we may be able to be blessed enough to be in a place where we can make our own food. That's not all the time. We have sat in a place, and in the same second that we have found a place, we've had to leave because someone is banging down the door. Someone has found the place. I've documented all of that on my social media. We have... It's just been moving constantly, looking over our shoulder constantly, trying to figure out constantly what's next. And we're not asking for anybody's money. I don't want your money. I would love if you could please just wake up. I would love if you could please just do the research. We will starve. We will sleep in the cold. We will figure it out. We still pay rent on a home that we're not even in. So this is not about money. This message is priceless. And I don't need anybody's money for you to hear me. I just need you to hear me, please.
And the bruises are so bad. The pain was so bad, I didn't know what to do with myself.
When I was 18 or 19 years old, I started trying to look for answers. I know who my mom is. I don't need those answers. My former last name it means nothing to me. I don't want anything from it. I never have and I never will. I couldn't wait to get rid of the name. But when I turned 18, 19, I started trying to still fill in those holes to my life that I'm still missing. And I tried to go back to the hospital, St. Bernardine's, California. I tried to go back and get some type of history. I started talking to my babysitter. It was a weird situation because she was placed in my life as someone that I started talking to in a relationship type way. I didn't know who she was. I didn't remember her. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know where to throw this. Quit playing with yourself. That stopped a while ago, but here we go. I don't know where. I can't. I would toss it. I can't see anything. So When I went over to her house, I eventually found out things started coming back. We talked, we fought, and she told me that I didn't understand what was going on, that there were many answers that I was missing, which already there's many holes to my story, to the things that I know myself. I stopped looking for those answers when I was adopted, and I don't need those answers, but I tried to look anyways. I went back to St. Bernardine's Hospital. I started looking for answers, and I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know if I wanted that answer. I have my mom, and I know who my mother is. Shelly Carter, I know who my mother is, but I just wanted answers. And she kept telling me she would give them to me, and she lied once again. Everybody thinks that it's your elite predators, your celebrities, your blue check mark, your political suits, your very credible people that you're supposed to be scared of, or you think that that's the only people that are involved in corruption, like Child Protective Services or secret societies, military and government corruption. You think that that's it, and it's not. And that's what they want you to think. They know that you don't know. But it's not just your elite celebrities. It's your everyday people. It's your lawyers, your doctors, your pediatricians that you take your children to, your everyday neighbor, your teachers, your daycare facilitators. My babysitter had the keys to the elementary schools in her area.
My surrogate, I don't call her a mother, my surrogate, she took her to court. She went to court with it and she lost the case. And then I wondered, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Why did everybody treat me like I did something wrong at 4 years old? Why did everybody treat me like it was my fault? In the courtroom, they made her shake her purse out and give her the last bit of change that she had in her wallet because she said she didn't give her the rest of the money for that day. And she did. And then she took me home and beat me because she lost the case. Everything became something that was normal since that day. That day, That day never leaves me. And ever since that day, I thought everything that was going on was something that had to happen and something I did. So I stayed quiet until I was about 12. And then every boyfriend, every piece of authority, everyone that she brought in my life, she kept telling me she didn't get enough money from me. She got government money for the rest of her kids. She stole Social Security cards. She was very well invested with the Panthers until they left her alone for a little bit. Until she had to figure out the money and then come by herself. So bootleg movies, fake IDs, drugs is what she did. But she always said she never got enough money from me. So, and at 12 years old, she started dating the chief of police.
Giants. I have seen something run towards me that has made me pass out and have also made me run like I've never ran in my life. I have seen something coming towards me that had the body of a dog, but the head of what looked like a llama. They run human and animal experiments together and create these things. But there are things that have been around for decades, and they're hidden now, and they're only used in certain times.
A lot of you saw the video where the police pulled us over the first time. It was late at night. We turned the live cameras on, and you saw us get really belligerent with the police. They searched our car. They pulled everything out. What you don't understand is there's so many more things that go on for survivors. Weeks prior to that, one of Allie's handlers had bought onto her contract. That means that they paid money for each one of those police officers to pull us over the way they did. And I already knew that your police officers are not all good and they're not all bad, but there are some that have sworn to the Freemason Brotherhood, and they're very corrupt. Like all the secret societies, they do what they're told to do. When you saw Allie getting very belligerent with the police officer, it's because the police officer was looking at the phone. One of the people that help us stay out of the way was calling, and we didn't want him to see who was calling because we were afraid that he would harass her. So it was actually Allie's alter, Maddie, that was getting very belligerent. Most of you don't understand how things work for survivors. There's just a lot to it. When they paid the gang stalker in that way, the purpose of it was to stress her out to the point where she split. That night, when you watched us on the live being pulled over, that was enough stress for Allie to split, and that was the goal of the gang stalking.
What does it mean to split?
For survivors, for MK Ultra, they start splitting the psyche when they're infants, and it's called trauma-based mind control. And they introduce trauma into the children, usually the infants. Sometimes they do it while they're in the womb. They can shock them in the womb. They can, there's survivors that I know that were raped as they were being born breech. They raped them half in the canal and half out of the canal to cause a split, to cause enough trauma for their blood pressure and their heartbeat to raise so high from the fear and from the pain that their psyche will split. They're looking for that split because they can program that part to be a slave. Your black slavery was more of a physical slavery. They were physically bound to where they were. They couldn't leave. They were physically in slavery. MK Ultra slavery is a slavery of your mind. You have no control over your mind anymore. Somebody else is able to control that. Somebody else is able to say codes, passwords, triggers, and pull up whichever altar they want to do whatever task they want. So it is the most evil form of slavery that you can imagine.
And he would come in my room at 4:00 in the morning, every night like clockwork. He was a married man, and he didn't come over during the day except for maybe twice. But he would come over at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. to have sex with her, and then she would go get in the shower. and then he'd come to my room. It was too many times in my own closet, and I started to run. I had enough. And he would have his friends come pick me up, and they would take me over on Marino Beach Drive, right in front of the car dealerships. They would have their way, and then they would take me back home until they got a trap house on Nason Street. They would bring other kids. Nobody questions the cops. Nobody questions why their cars are parked the wrong way. Nobody questions what they're doing. Everybody thinks that if the cops are sitting in a weird spot in the middle of a deserted field, then somebody did something wrong and they were probably trying to catch them. And no, it's not true. I tried to run. I tried to scream. I tried to fight. And they would just put handcuffs on me. And then I had enough. I tried to kill myself.
Okay. So have you touched a reptilian? Have you been in close contact with them? Because I'm asking.
I've been in close contact with one, but I've not tried to touch it.
All right. Because people might say, it's dark. You didn't see it clearly. Maybe they're wearing a mask.
I've seen something clearly. Yeah,
All
I've
right.
seen it clear, and I've seen some things that I will never be able to unsee. I have major PTSD. I have night terrors. I have flashbacks and nightmares all the time. I've seen some things that I can't even put into words.
I see. Do they all speak human language?
No.
All right.
There are things that speak multiple languages and that will speak to you and scare the hell out of you, or there are things that will growl at you and act as an animal.
But they're intelligent, right? Are they intelligent?
It's kind of like, for me, for the experiences that I've had, there are some things that it's like everyday animals that you see. They're just as scared as you are scared of them. So as long as you're not trying to hurt them, they're not trying to hurt you. But then there's some things that are angry and in pain and evil.
Well, my career in law enforcement, I actually joined the Brotherhood of Freemasons.
Okay. Yeah, how'd you get into that?
Man, a lot of cops are involved with that.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's a thing that I'm not saying you must do, but 95% of them do. One of my supervisors, he was a lieutenant. Pretty much came up to me and asked me, "Hey, you want to join a club?" And I'm like, "What kind of club is it?" You know what I mean? Right. Well, it's a Freemasons. I did my background, on them and did my research. And
sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, you sworn never to divulge any information, but to always protect and help your fellow brother. That's it. But see, if you start exposing them, they'll go after you. They'll go after your family. They'll try to kill you because the government's part of it. It's not only civilians. The government is in cahoots with these people.
Right.
And in there's sectors throughout the whole country that's split apart. I don't know if it's northeast, south, and west, but they have witches that are in charge of these sectors and warlocks that are in charge of these sectors, and they pretty much monitor the satanic. I'm going to use the satanic, members, and a lot of them are politicians, heavily involved in witchcraft. And they have to do certain rituals and certain things in order for them to gain favor with the Rothschilds, and then they send orders of doing things for that family.
Wow.
They give them orders, and with those orders money comes with it.
Exactly.
They're all demons. They're all demon possessed. They're vessels. They're fleshly vessels that are compartmentalized. They're like shattered. They shatter their brains, and it's just like MK Ultra, right? They use MK Ultra to break the minds of people, and then they mold them the way that they want them to go. You know what I mean? Or satanic ritual abuse. That all comes together with the Freemasons.
I want you guys to think about your mental hospitals. A lot of your horror movies are based around asylums, mental asylums. Most of us know that there was tortures that went on in the mental asylums, lobotomies, different types of things like that. Those things are real. A lot of your MK Ultra survivors have been through mental hospitals. A lot of them get put back into mental hospitals to reset their programming if it starts to break down. A lot of your survivors have been raped in mental hospitals. A lot of them have been put in dental type chairs for programming and resetting purposes. Most of the survivors that you come across are going to be terrified of the dentist, and there's a reason for that. They use a lot of medications for programming as well. For instance, your CPS kids will all be on different types of medication. If you go buy a medication and you pull out that pamphlet that comes with it, there's a big long thing with risks and side effects and those type of things. They have to test those medications on people, and they test them on the people that are in the mental hospitals. They test them on the children in CPS care because they can give them the medications and find out the side effects and use them for experiments. So there's so many layers of things that are being done. It's just the worst evil that you've ever seen.
I went into mental hospitals. I was in solitary confinement because I fought back so hard, because I started seeing the corruptness in the mental hospitals, and that became my fault too. She was in the hospital when I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was going to Boniol Elementary in San Bernardino, California. I also went to Del Rosa Elementary in San Bernardino, California. But at the time that I was going to Boniol, she was put into Patton, the hospital for the criminally insane. I don't know why. And I remember some of it, but I don't remember a lot of it. But I had to go on visitation to Patton. Boniol Elementary sits on the same street, right next door, pretty much, to Patton Hospital. And I would have to go visit her. And when I visited her, weird things happened. They would put me on a table and play that clown game with me. You know how you try to stab your hands and not miss with a knife? They would put me on a table and they would put food around me and they would stab at me. I remember that. I was 15 in the 10th grade. By the time I went into Child Protective Services, first I went to Riverside ETS and Chino Hills Mental Hospital. I was in Chino Hills for a month in a psych ward. The nurses there in the psych ward had a system, and they knew that everybody was on medication so they could get away with things like sexual abuse, pictures, writing fake things in the chart but discussing it over someone's bed. And because they thought you were high and drugged, they didn't think you'd remember. But I wasn't supposed to be on medication. I was given medication, but I wasn't supposed to be on it. There was no reason. And one night I was awake when 2 nurses came in the room. My roommate had sliced her arm. She sliced it from here down. And they used to always have to change her bandages because she would try to reopen them at night. And I never understood why. She would scream and she would try to reopen them. I'd wake up in pain and I didn't know why. And then one day I didn't take my medicine. And the nurses came in our room and they were talking over our bed about changing the charts. About nobody would believe the kids because they're already crazy. They took pictures after they took her clothes off. And when they came to my bed, I started fighting. They threw me in solitary confinement for a week. I wanted to die. I remember the social worker coming out and telling me that they were going to send me back to my biological mother. And I remember telling them that if whatever happens, just know that I'm coming back in a body bag. Because I know that somebody is going to get a hold of me, and nobody wanted me to tell the truth. So,
question. So, because you're in constant danger, and we all know about it, you have never been safe, actually. So, people were worried, and they were wondering if there's any so-called white hats. Do you know that term?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, has anyone like that ever
If there's white
contacted
hats,
you and to offer
no.
any sort of help
No.
or no? So you just
No.
been left alone out there to survive, if that's how you call it.
Yes, and as well as many other survivors, millions of other survivors, are scared to come forward, are scared to tell the truth, are scared to bring this type of things to you because everybody wants to call you crazy. You're lying. You're making this up. How do you know it was this person? How do you know it was that person? I want the evidence. I want this. You don't necessarily get up from being raped and ask for a DVD for a souvenir. That's not how that works. So millions of other survivors go through the same thing. There's no help. These organizations are recycling. The 501c3s are hush money organizations. You see them running to the opposite countries or the opposite states of where they should be, where they're stationed to help, and they don't do anything about their own backyard. They're not doing a damn thing. So I have not been contacted by any real person. We have been contacted by people like you that are willing to be courageous and be bold enough to put the truth out there no matter the repercussions, and put the truth out there no matter how many people call you crazy and a liar and controlled opposition and whatever else they want to call you. We've only been contacted by people like that, people like you that have said, I have a platform, so let's just try to wake people up. Let's just try to give them the information and create this army of we the people, because we the people have to get pissed enough to say that there's more of us than there is of them. And with millions of other survivors that have went through this, there's so many survivors that are sitting back waiting for somebody else to push a little bit.
But nonetheless, me and my mother were in foster care together. Like I said, she had me when she was 15. The ages escaped me for when everything happened. But I can tell you that this happened in between the time that I was a baby and 7. So between the ages of infancy to 7 years old is when I had my first experience with abuse. I have memories of being hit, and this is not so. Everything started to happen after I left my first foster mother's house, and me and my mother had to go to another foster mother's house. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the reason why we had to leave the first foster mother's house is because my mom didn't want to give me up. My first foster mother was trying to adopt me so she could keep me, because she said that my mother was 15. She was still young. She wanted to party. She wanted to go out. She did not want to be a mother. So she was essentially trying to take me and be able to give me a good household, a good family orientation and everything. So, but my mother didn't see that. She saw that as, oh, you trying to take my baby. But I have my opinions about why she did that. Nonetheless, that was the reason why we had to leave the first foster mother's house, is because she was trying to adopt me from my mother, and my mother didn't want that. So we ended up having to leave that family and went to another family. Now, I'm not sure how many foster homes we were in, but it had to be at least 4. And it might have been 5, but I can't remember all of them. I remember some of the people, but I don't remember all of the foster homes we were in. I was molested at 2 of the foster homes. From what I remember, I was molested at 2 of the foster homes. So the first memory that I have of abuse is me getting beat or hit. Like, I have this memory of me being like up against a tree or something, and just stuff being thrown at me, And I brought it up to my mom one time, and I said, you know, I keep having this like vision of me being hit. And I said, you know, did I get hit in my head or something? You know, I asked her, she said, well, you were abused. You were abused in when we were in a foster place. And during this time, I believe my mom was in school. She had to go to school. Yeah, she was in school. And so I was there by myself. And I just remember getting hit. And to this day, I have a gash. It's not a gash. It's like a mark in my head, in the back of my head. It's always been there. It's always been there. But I don't remember the pain from it. I just see the vision of it happen. And my mom confirmed that it happened. I don't remember the people because I was too young. So that's the first thing. And then the next thing I remember, I don't know if these people were foster parents or if these were just people who were helping my mom at the time. I can't remember, but I want to say they were foster parents too. Nonetheless, these were members of the church that my mom went to. What I do remember is in this particular house, there was 2 girls. That family had 2 girls. It was a mom and a dad, husband and wife. And they lived next to the church that my mom attended. But this particular night, I was at their house. We were supposed to be in the bed. And one of the sisters, I believe the oldest sister, started fondling me. Like, I didn't know what it was at that time, but now I know what it was. So she was touching me. She started touching me. And just, it was so weird. I didn't know what was going on. Okay, I was a child. I had to be about 3 or 4. I was young. But I remember her touching me, touching my privacy. She was on top of me. I mean, it was weird. It was very weird for me.
So they put me in foster care.
It's just, what are you going to do about it?
So for those people, because they don't know how the world really works, is there anything that you know that you think they should know in order to find out that something or many things are seriously wrong with their lives, their own lives? Is there something that you can point them to that they can find in their own lives to see something's really wrong?
I think that everybody can see that there's something going on around them. It's just seeing it with a different perspective, seeing it with new eyes. Again, the foster system is rigged. The judicial system is rigged. The justice system is rigged. And I think that everybody can say, if you've ever been in a custody battle and you have seen that you may have had the evidence to everything that has gone on, but usually the court leans in the favor of the parent. That is not in the best interest of the child, because if you have a child in the courthouse, you keep them coming back till 18. That is where the court system makes their money. That is how they make their money, by continuing this problem with a child. The system is rigged. And I know that everybody has had something in their life that can resonate with them to say that something is not right. You see some military people, unfortunately, are not doing the right thing. Do you see the police what we have been through with the brotherhood police and the double sides of the badge? There's no one to call. And how many times would you be abused by someone before you realize that there's no authority that you're going to call on to help you, because they haven't helped before and they're responsible for all of this? I've been abused by authority since I was a baby, and I have tried every single thing that we could think of, and my mother has tried everything. She has went through every avenue that she could, police, investigators, court systems, and there's nobody. They get suspended and fired and replaced mysteriously. They come up missing, or somebody shuts it down and dismisses the case and hushes it back up. And if you don't hear me, fine, but hear another survivor that's trying to tell you the same thing. Do your research, use your discernment, and please fight, because it's going to take people to stand up to the situation, because you see what the authorities are doing. You see how well you can get past it with the system. The system is rigged so that you can't get any further. You're called crazy. You're shut down. You're silenced. The logic is gone. You're thrown into somewhere for saying the truth. You are arrested and you are silenced for your own information and for your own truth. Something is not right, and everybody knows it.